I was thinking again, I think a lot, but I was thinking again about how in like the world, like in life, how much weight is put on like superficial things and like things that you can see outwardly. Like, I'm gonna take a leaf out of people that I know in my own life, but they're often talking about like how so and so has this and so has this, or like so and so like looks like this, or like whatever, and they're putting a lot of weight on that. And especially like with social media and stuff, like people are showing like a certain type of like me too, you know what I mean, like me too. Like I sit there and I've said it before, like, listen, I'm not showing you if I'm like sitting there moody and depressed or like crying or like whatever. Like that's probably not coming from me. Like maybe, but probably not, right? But I don't know, like how do we get to the root cause of like not paying so much attention or not putting so much emphasis on what we see superficially? Because sometimes you can be pretty on the outside, but what's the point of being pretty on the outside if inside it's just like black, or even worse, there's like literally no substance, like nothing there. And I don't really know, because sometimes it's hard to even identify. Like some people are just so good at like putting on a facade and like showing like a different face, and a lot of times people might think that, oh, like they're actually nice or like whatever, but they don't know that somebody else is like, they're talking about you behind their back to someone else or something, you know, like something like that. So I don't know, like how do we combat that? How do we change a whole generation's mindset, or more than one generation, because this is something that can be quite deep rooted and amongst a lot of generations. But how do we change that we don't just look at what's on the outside? Like, yeah, okay, you don't want someone to be broke, or you don't want someone to, you know, be like weird, like super, I guess. But like, how do we change the perspective of just because somebody likes to read, for example, doesn't mean that they're nerdy, or just because somebody likes to do their nails or whatever doesn't mean they're like high, like super high maintenance, and like, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, I feel like I'm not explaining it properly, but the whole point is that I think it will take like a really massive change. But do you know what the change is? Just talking about it. I think if everybody just starts talking about it, it will feel less like important. And if we stop giving weight, like, I'm sorry, I heard this conversation extremely recently where somebody was talking about, oh, so-and-so, like, I just saw their house and it looks so beautiful. It's like, yeah, but you don't actually know, like, they might have a beautiful house from the outside, but inside it might look terrible, or the things that are going on inside the house might look terrible. Or they were like, oh yeah, so-and-so's like dad owns this, la la la. And then the other person's first response was like, was she pretty? And I'm like, what's that got to do with anything? Like, whether she's pretty or not pretty, first of all, being pretty is completely subjective, because what I might think looks pretty, somebody else might think looks not great. And similarly, what somebody else thinks looks pretty, I might be like, oh, that's questionable. So it's really subjective, but yeah, we all give the same weight to this like outwardly appearance or outwardly facade that everybody's putting on, but then we all interpret it differently. So I don't know, it just boggles my mind, to be honest. And I just don't know, like, how as a society are we supposed to change that? Because I know that I don't want like my younger like cousins and like whatever, and like if I have like kids or whatever, I don't want them to be in a society like that, because it's not nice. Like, these aren't the things that I want them to be exposed to, because I wouldn't want to be exposed to those things either. It's so difficult, because I know that, like, saying this now, like, we're in a society where we love to take things to the extreme, and I feel like having one extreme of like paying too much attention to the superficial side is really important, but then I feel like there'll be like a group of people who take it to a completely opposite extreme, and it's like nothing superficially matters. Like you can sleep in a sleeping bag in a park, and like it's all about what's inside. But I do think that there should be some degree of balance in terms of that. But even still, like I don't know, like what has to happen, what has to change, like in the world. I don't know. Again, I'm just thinking out loud because I don't I don't know the answer to any of these. I'm just starting up conversation. Do you know what I mean? I also need to stop talking like that. I don't know why, like I automatically transition into this like weird, do you know what I mean? Like business. I don't really know. I don't really know. Anyway, see you soon for more car chats. I don't know.